All right, I'd like to call to order the October 18th, 2017 meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority. This time I'd like to open up public comment. Please wait till you're called on, approach the dais and give your name and address.
Do you know the lights aren't on?
I was going to ask if the lights were off or if this is like, are we conserving energy? Are we going green? To serve
Mr. Harrison.
Just made it. I got detained at the office. Evening, Bill Harrison, 2729 Trafford, Royal Oak. Jotted down a few thoughts on the agenda regarding the reimbursement agreement, parking rates, and other business, if you'll indulge me. Regarding the reimbursement agreement, I looked at the parking numbers and they look pretty good. Unless, of course, the 19,000 square foot of retail space ends up as restaurant, then we're in deep trouble. As far as the parking fees are concerned, I noticed in the agreement that there's no free parking, and there's a 10% annual increase allowed, or whatever the city charges or the DDA charges, whichever is greater. And they're starting at $1 an hour. I'm just concerned that if the parking rates in that structure become much greater than the rest of the downtown, people are going to shift over to other areas in downtown if the spaces indeed are available. And that's a critical area for parking for the retail people. When I was on the DDA, you wouldn't have that property if I hadn't contested the draft copy of the 2006 parking study that all it did was justify replacing the Center Street parking structure. And I had them redo it to consider where the 6th and Main lot is, and this lot here, and the Center Street. And the result was that it showed that all three places needed additional parking. And subsequently, under a previous administration, the DDA and the city purchased the 6th and Main property. On page 4 of the agreement, under the reimbursement, does the DDA collect all the taxes, including the school taxes, or is it just the non-school taxes? And then what is the cap on the reimbursement for the public spaces? I don't have any numbers to work with, and I can't figure out whether it's going to eat up the taxes, the TIF taxes for the entire 10-year period, or whether they're going to fall short, or whatever. And then on page 7, those of you who know me know I'm a stickler for detail on contracts. It talks about the termination, and that Burton Katzman has 21 days to terminate, but it doesn't say from what date. And it really should say from the date of execution of the agreement. And then whenever you give something, you expect to get something. And that agreement should be reciprocal. That if they have 21 days to pull out, you should have 21 days to pull out. Now, I'm sure you don't have the intent to do that, but it's just a matter of style. On the parking rate issues, we've heard the city administration talk about getting rid of free parking, special assessments, and increasing the fees. All of this will hurt retail. And as I've said many times when I was on the board, landlords don't pay taxes. They collect taxes, just like retailers collect sales tax. And I'm just concerned about it. Many of our retailers are on thin ice to begin with. And moving on to other business, I was reading about the Main Street program, and one of the items talks about bringing back the Main Street program. And those of you who can remember when Jerry Detloff was the downtown manager, he was doing a bang-up job. He really was doing a great job until he got involved with the Main Street program. This Main Street program is nothing but a cottage industry, and if you look at who's in it, they're all northern and western sites for tourists. And Tim will remember, we finally got rid of the Main Street program. It became, for a word, burdensome to do all the reports and all that sort of thing, and we were getting absolutely nothing about it. And when they would come in once a year to talk to us, you know, we'd express our concerns with the Main Street program. It was a typical bureaucratic response. They just sat there and blew us off. So don't get involved with the Main Street program again. We need a commercial rental property owner on the DDA. Right now, we have a fairly good mix. We've got a couple of retailers, we've got a couple of bar, restaurant people, we've got a at-large member, we've got a resident, which is required. And I'm not being pejorative to the new young lady, but there's no reason to appoint somebody that's 3 years out of law school to this board. We need experienced people. And I'm just appalled. The only reason I can think of to bring somebody on the board that does not have the background experience is that it's another case where the city wants a lackey, you know, just somebody that'll go along. When I joined the DDA, we had the president of the DDA.
Mr. Harris, I need you to wrap it up.
Okay. Let me just say one more thing and then I'll go back. Now, when is the DDA going to support banning office on the first floor? That hurts retail. My tenants are continually complaining to me about the real estate offices that are on the first floor and are not generating the kind of foot traffic that they need for retail. So we need somebody to take this up. When I was on the DDA, I tried to get this thing going and ran into nothing but a roadblock from administration. And the claim at that time was the real estate agents didn't like it. Too bad, okay? And just, if you'll indulge me for a minute.
Bill?
Yeah, done?
Yeah, it's done.
All right.
You got my
Thanks.
email.
Pardon me?
You got our email. Feel free to send an email if you want.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Carol?
Good afternoon, Carol Hennessy, 258 East 12 Mile Road. I'm here to talk about a Veterans Day that's coming up November the 11th. Right outside here at the monument, we'll be having a Veterans Day service at 11 a.m. But before that, we're going to have, and I gave some to Gary, some of these. We're having a 2.2 ROCK Fun Run Walk. And a ROCK run or ROCK march involves walking at a fast clip with a weighted backpack. The armed forces use 45 pounds, but we're only asking for 22 pounds in your backpack or 22 items. I believe I mentioned at the last meeting items like toothpaste, toothbrushes, combs, hairbrushes, playing cards, lifesavers, things like that you could put in your backpack. And if you can't walk 2.2 miles or run in it, we'll just take donations as well. And all this is starting at 9:30 in the morning, right outside here at the Star Dream. We're going to start it from here and then go 2.2 miles, and we're going to end up at the VFW Hall at 4th and Troy in their parking lot. And that's where you can empty out your backpacks and leave all your donations there. And then from there, all the runners are going to join the honor guard from the VFW and march to the monument, and where we'll start the service at 11 a.m. Everyone's invited to come and participate, and if you can't, just show up and cheer for everybody. Also, at this service, Senator Marty Nolenberg is going to present pins to all the Vietnam veterans that were in the service between 1955 and 1975. You did not have to be in Vietnam. You just had to be in the service during that time. And I would need your name or the name of the person that's going to be honored so that we know how many we have and exactly what we can do and how many pins we need to get. My phone number, if you need to contact me, is 248-543-8420. And if you want to get into this ROCK March, you can contact Judy Davis at City Hall, and the information's on these brochures here.
Okay.
So, let me see. Okay, I think that's it. Any questions?
Don, the issue with the crack in the monument, I went and looked at it, it's fixed as far as probably not allowing any more damage, but it does not look good. And I think Carol somewhere might have the name of the company or somewhere, somebody does, that moved the monument, and when they moved the monument cracked, and that same company fixed it, and it was like invisible. And I'm wondering if we can, I'm sure we'll take it up at infrastructure, but if we could maybe like get an idea of what it would cost to have them repair it correctly.
Provide the company.
Pardon me?
Do you know the company?
I'm sure I've got the records at home,
Yeah.
but it is cracked on both sides.
Yeah.
So it's probably cracked all the way through, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So,
It looks like someone just filled it. And
It's been filled with epoxy is what
Yeah.
it looks like.
Yeah.
And I imagine what they probably did before is, after filling it, is coated it with with marble dust or granite dust, whatever that is, and then smoothed it out.
yeah, so if you could maybe get that, from
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, and
okay,
we'll move.
all right,
All
I will
right.
do that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. I do want to welcome Michelle Adams to our first meeting.
Thank you.
And speaking on behalf of everybody, I'm very pleased you're here. I think,
Second that.
and knowing you so far, I find you to be a very bright person, a good independent thinker, and I think you're a good piece to this DDA, which is dominated by 50-some-year-old men. So I think it's good.
Jay, if I could say something, and I think you're a voice that is really needed on this board, both from experience and from age and from everything. Just something that we really need with what's going on in the city and what's going to go forward in this city.
Happy to contribute.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that being said, welcome. I know you've had an exciting first few weeks and you haven't even had a meeting yet. So on to number 3, the approval of the meeting minutes from September 20th. I assume everybody's had an opportunity to look these over.
Move to approve.
Approved by Director Riley.
I'll second.
Seconded by Director Safaya. Do you have any comments, changes? None. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those against? Motion carries.
Change my mouse to left-handed for me, too? No, you. No, I know.
We got the expense items here. I don't know, nothing that needs action, correct, Tim? Let's see.
Nope.
So it's just a matter of, anybody, any questions for Tim?
Just a quick one, the Michigan Downtown Association membership fee, that's something that Sean has gotten into. We had not
No,
been.
TDA's been members
Okay.
for multiple years. It's the statewide organization on it.
Okay.
The fee is generally $600. There was another $100 this year for some of the lobbying efforts they've been doing for the legislature's attempts to remove TIF capture.
Gotcha.
Anybody else? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to number 4, which is the meeting schedule for 2018.
We're just looking for you to establish your meeting schedule for next year, so we can get it put together and posted. We looked at potential conflicts on holidays. If you want to adjust from the third Wednesday at 4 o'clock, you'd need to tell us what you want to adjust and which dates. But if you're happy, there's a resolution at the bottom to leave it as it is.
One question I had, I think the November one, I believe that is the day, is that the day before Thanksgiving this year? Am I right?
2018.
2018.
I mean, next year. I think, and again, it's not a big deal, but I'm just wondering if we might want to move that because people might be out of town. I swear I thought I looked at that because I put it in my calendar for next year. Let me see. Because Thanksgiving would be the 4th. Yeah, that would make sense because Thanksgiving is the 4th Thursday, so Thursday's got to be the 1st, right?
Wouldn't it be the 29th?
Google says that Thanksgiving
should be the
is
20
November 22, 2018.
Yeah. So that's the day before Thanksgiving. That's the only thing I'd say.
Yep.
I got plenty of time to adjust it, I guess, but, I mean,
if.
I'm good with it.
I mean, if we want to move it, I mean, now'd be the time to do it. That way it gets on the schedule.
Or you can change it anytime, so.
I think changing it makes sense.
Yeah, I just wonder if people go out of town.
You know me, I never go away.
Well, I do know there's some people who do go out to the bar that night. I know it's one of the bigger bar nights in the year, but this end of the table does not take.
Well, I guess then the question comes, do you want to move it back a week or you want to move it up a week? So either the 14th or the 28th?
I would say move forward. I would say move to the 14th.
Okay. So I guess we just,
Modify the resolution to indicate changing that date.
So should I make a resolution?
yeah, why don't you, you can go ahead and use the resolution he's got, but just make your change as part of it.
Okay, so I move to approve with the calendar for meetings for next year, with the exception of moving the November 21st meeting from November 21st to November 14th.
A motion by Director Riley, second
Second.
by Director Yazbek. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 6, reimbursement agreement for 600 South Main.
This was presented last month to the board. It was referred back to the Business Marketing Committee. The committee did meet on Monday evening with representatives from Burton Katzman. We didn't have enough time to make revisions and get it executed. So I think what we'll do is hold it over until your November meeting, make those adjustments, have them sign it, and then it'll be here for your consideration at November rather than today. So there's no action necessary unless you've got questions.
You can look at this as a work in progress, I guess.
Yeah, there's just some more information being put together,
Correct.
timing. And just one thing I would want to say is that there's been some concern about the timing, and the timing is being addressed in the agreement as to when they would start. No, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to real quick ask everybody, pull your microphones up, because I have a feeling that Richard's.
Yeah, the one thing I was gonna say is,
Because we can't hear
when I
us.
say that with regard to the timing, because there's been some concern about, all the different parking lots and all the construction and everything going on, and we don't wanna create any more parking problems than necessary, so that is being addressed.
Anybody got any questions on that? All right, so moving on to number 7, the Façade grant program.
You may recall the DDA suspended the Façade grant program for quite a period of time now, to look at revisions to it. You saw a draft that was a kind of a business incentive program to help with a variety of things that didn't gain approval and support. The Infrastructure Committee has gone back and looked at simplifying the program similar to what used to be run, and that's what you have drafted in front of you. The Infrastructure Committee is supportive of the revisions. Again, they've identified a cap on the match amount at $10,000 for various programs. So this is a recommendation from infrastructure to approve this revised side grant program. Current fiscal year budget does have $100,000 set aside for the program, so it is funded if you approve it. Sean's going to coordinate distribution and getting the word out and processing applicants. So looking for an approval. If you're in favor of it, there's a suggested resolution.
Dr. Riley?
Questions for the committee, just real quick. Just, and I went through it, but albeit, I don't know if I did a very thorough job on it. All businesses in the DDA area are eligible, correct?
All properties.
All properties, all properties. Also, and it is a matching program up to $10,000. So it's not a grant per se, it's a matching grant, well, on a matching basis. Okay. And the committee will review the applications.
Committee will review the applications and come to some sort of recommendation to bring to the full board.
So basically, on an annual budget basis, if we stay where we're at, we can do up to 10 a year.
Yes, that's assuming that everybody gets the max.
Right,
But
I guess we could actually do more than 10.
Yep, we
Okay.
could do more,
Got it,
yes,
got it. We could do a
because
max.
not all of them.
We could do a
will-
max or a
Exactly.
minimum of 10,
Yes.
if we do go across the board. Okay. I like the program.
We expect to see some applications that will have requests in them that will not be allowed by the DDA. And for example, if they bring us in a budget or a schedule and it includes any type of labor in there, that doesn't qualify.
Okay.
It's
It's materials,
materials and.
Sure.
And,
makes sense.
yeah, exactly. So there is a criteria that we're following and, we'll stick with that and then we'll see what qualifies and it doesn't. We have some flexibility in the program. We've put it in there specifically to be able to adapt to each application,
Okay.
so.
I would expect, actually, I would kind of hope that you guys get, not inundated, but I think right out of the box, that because there's gonna be pent-up demand for this. Because we suspended it for.
Well, we also have someone out on the, you know,
Right.
with boots on.
Promoting it,
so-
yes, which is, it's all good,
Exactly.
good.
That being said, if people like it,
It's not just for new businesses, it's for existing
Correct.
properties.
Correct. No, I think this is like as equitable as we can get.
Question.
sure.
Mike, when you said that labor wouldn't be included, that's only their own labor.
Their own labor.
Third-party contractor labor is
Third-party
covered.
contractor labor, yeah. Yes.
And I think I heard Mr. Begg, motion to approve,
I'll second.
second by Director Riley. Any further discussion or questions?
I'm kind of sad that Jason's not here because this is his baby.
I know. I know. He'll probably be involved with half
Well,
of it.
Tony moved over to a seat though, so.
All right, seeing nothing further, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Somebody switch this mouse to left.
Shop small.
Briefly, the Consumer Marketing Committee met, reviewed the Shop Small program as presented in your packet. The Consumer Marketing Committee would like the DDA to allocate or approve the allocation of $7,000 from the fiscal year 17-18 Development Fund Promotions budget. They're not asking for an increase. The overall budget for promotions is $220,000. There is sufficient balance left to allocate $7,000 towards this program, as outlined by Sean Cameron, the downtown manager. Several of the details are not worked out. The committee's not really looking for you to approve detail items in terms of which bags are purchased or aren't, or things like that. It's just an allocation of the money in your agreement to move forward with this program and overall. So, like
Can I
I
say
said,
something?
there's money left in the current fiscal year budget, so I don't know if Gary or Lori want to add.
Well, I just want to say, since this meeting, some of these items were even in the meeting that unless
I think what he's doing, I love what he's doing. He's developing all these different ideas to entice people to come for Shop Small. Shop Small is already a pretty successful day, but Sean has gathered ideas from other municipalities on what they do. And these little incentives here and there, I think will enhance, as well as we could use some of them to fundraise. I think the ornament idea is great.
But we
Hopefully-
have found way cheaper items.
Correct.
Since this meeting, I went on and I helped him and
Yeah,
I
like-
gave him some links.
Like Tim said.
Including the
here's-
bags?
Yes,
Or-
half the price,
Okay,
less than half the
because I think the
price.
bags are a good idea too.
Yeah.
But if we can get it for
If we
cheaper.
find cheaper bags,
Yeah.
it'll allow us to buy more
Yeah.
other things. He's also gone out and gotten donations from, I can't think of all the
It's listed.
places to put in the bags.
Zoo.
Oh, the
Like-
zoo,
Like Music Theater.
Relic Music Theater, he's gonna
Imagine
work on-
Theater, I think.
And stage crafters,
Stage, yeah.
and the retailers and restaurants will be donating stuff to raffle off, put in the bags. I'm so pleased with what he's doing.
Great.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Director Baglio,
I'll second.
seconded by Director Safaya. Anybody? I think it's great, you know.
I just had one thing just during discussion. I think we have some momentum going here. Between Sean coming on board, the 3-day Christmas event, this event, and I think this is like, it's kind of exciting to see that from a retail end, that we've got some stuff going. And I just wonder, I know Sean has talked about, just we've had some conversations back and forth. And one of the things that I was talking about, I remember when we used to do like the ladies' night out and stuff like that. And I wonder if, I don't know if there were issues with that, but if there was any thoughts of doing, as long as we have momentum going on. And I know you don't want to do too much all at once, but if there's been any thought, like spacing stuff out where we can just keep adding events.
I think now that we have someone that will pound the pavement, I think those can all be successful, yes.
And do we have, and do we have room in budget to support those things still? I mean, in next year's budget?
That really didn't cost
Wait,
very much.
Right now, your promotions budget is probably got 14,000 left in
Okay.
it, after you take the 7 out. But I haven't seen a request from the Arts Commission yet this year. so-
Okay, and that goes through June, right? Okay, worst
And
case.
Shop Small didn't cost very much, just cost of posters.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Cool.
And now a little bit of social media,
Oh, well, that's in my report.
okay?
I seconded it, by the way.
Yes, I got you. All right, anybody else? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Number 10, parking rate recommendations.
9.
What happened to
I'm
9?
sorry, 9. Everybody's probably waiting for 9. Number 9, yeah.
I
And they're
think the
continuing to wait.
update that I can give here is the Business Marketing Committee is reviewing a draft agreement. You may recall that the DDA hired Bowden Brown from Dykema to be your legal representative on this agreement. Business Marketing Committee discussed it on Monday night. I'll be forwarding those comments, requests to the Bowden for his insertion and word changes to that agreement, and then we'll forward those on to the city for their consideration and comment. Hopefully, that'll get done in short order because of the timing issues with it. I may ask or contact you to schedule a special meeting before your November meeting, if things are in place to deal with this agreement, because of some of the timing and things that are in the development agreement from the city's end, so. But I don't have a date. Till it's done, I won't schedule that meeting. That's all I have on this, so
Yeah.
there's no action.
There's a lot of moving parts. Anybody any questions? There's not a whole lot to talk about, actually, so. All right, moving on now back to number 10, or up to number 10, parking rate recommendations.
I forwarded a request from Greg Rassel at DPS in regards to the DDA to start considering or looking at parking rates. You may recall that back in May of this year, Mr. Johnson had brought up the issue of discussing parking rates and how parking was paid for in the downtown. And the DDA did create a committee in May that would look into that. You assigned various board members to that committee. I don't remember exactly who it was off the top of my head right
I think
here.
it's Mike, Gary, and myself.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is have you refer this to that committee, get a meeting scheduled with that committee, and come back with some recommendation. But I thought the whole board should see the request and what's being looked at before the committee dove into it. So there's,
I move to, move it to the assembled parking committee.
And
It's $2 an hour now.
I got a motion by Director Riley,
I'll second the motion.
second by Director Sophia. Any discussion on this?
Just this, I think this is an important issue, and we would like to have as much input on this as possible from all the members. So if you could take the time and review some of the material and do a little bit of homework in terms of what we have going on in the city right now and what you would like to see and what you would not like to see. We need to give this some serious consideration before we come back with any other recommendations. So any comments that you could provide, and I guess you can forward those comments maybe to Tim, and then Tim can bring them to the committee when the committee convenes. That way we'll have everybody's input, and we'll be able to compile it all together and hopefully come up with something that we can bring back to here.
That's a great call. And in going through it, there's like a lot more in there than meets the eye. And every one of you has different experiences than the person sitting next to you and different uses of the parking, which is why I think the whole committee's input is really important here. And I think not only looking at rates, but locations, permit versus meter stuff, timing, everything top to bottom. And look at adjuncts, in other words, stuff, like Park Mobile, things, wayfinding, things like other things that, are going to make the parking situation easier, better. In other words, I think we'd all be in agreement that we're all willing to pay a certain price for something based on the quality of it. So I think we need to look at both the quality and the quantity.
And convenience.
And I think the convenience, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay. Guess we need to vote.
Yeah, I guess we'll vote, and then we can set a meeting time.
Anybody else on this?
I just have a quick question that's kind of related to this, because I do believe that wayfinding will help the parking situation. But is there any target date on when that's gonna start and stop?
they're
November.
supposed to- Yeah, no, supposed to be done at the end of November.
Yeah.
I think I sent
Sent the email.
out copies of the proofs to everyone.
I did see
So
that.
they're being fabricated, and then they'll start getting installed.
Great.
Yeah, there was a reply all from whomever from the city that they thought by the end of November.
Great.
Anybody else? Well, seeing none, I'll call for the vote on this. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Number 11, committee updates. A, Consumer Marketing Committee, Mr. Baglio.
We met a couple of weeks ago. We got a spectacular update. I was hoping somebody from Ultimate Fund would be here today to give us an update on Spooktacular, but I'm sure all of you have seen all of the things on the street. The Façade that's taken over next to Qdoba. There's a jumbotron screen on the parking structure.
Is that up now?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
On,
I saw
the Center Street structure. There's a mural going up at the empty lot next to Bright Ideas. And there's mysterious dots appearing all over the sidewalks. So, it's generating a lot of curious buzz. So I think these guys are doing a great job. In terms of PR, they have a schedule, but I can't speak to it, so I don't know. But I know we're gonna be getting a lot of that.
By the way, the weather forecast, not to jinx it, but right now looks good.
It does?
Well, I'm looking at the
Mouth to
14-day
God's
forecast. Today it looked good.
We also talked about the shop small proposal. We have some things to tighten up at our next meeting, which will be November, I hope, 6th. To tighten up that promotion. Shop small is always a pretty good day, but Sean's bringing some new excitement to that. We also allocated, was it $100 a month?
$100 a month,
I think it was $1,200
a year.
to the social media budget to help boost posts on Facebook and Instagram. That's all I got.
Very good. Good work. Anybody have questions for Gary?
Yep.
No? Yes?
Oh, no, well, the only question I would ask, you can't tell me, I wanna know the secrets.
What?
I wanna know the secrets, I wanna know
Have
what's
to
behind
wait
the
until
door.
spectacular.
I wanna know what's behind the door. No, that's good, it's all good.
It will be revealed
Like day of, is that the?
at 1 o'clock,
At 1 o'clock?
when trick or
When the
treating
sign
opens.
hits 0.
There's a countdown
That's what I
clock.
thought that was about, yeah.
Get your lawn chair.
When it counts to
I
0,
can
you'll
see,
see it.
I gotta get up on my terrace and peek out over there. No, right, I did look at the weather today though, and well, cause there's a Michigan game on that Saturday, and right now it's looking like 59 and sunny.
That's 2 weeks away.
I know, but come on,
Trust them.
And it's Michigan.
I know.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Baglio and your committee. B, infrastructure, we didn't have a meeting.
We did not. We had to cancel the meeting this year because of scheduling conflicts.
However, has anybody seen the lights being installed?
Yes.
Oh, I saw,
Has anybody been here early enough to see them on? They're pretty cool, aren't they?
oh, the tree lights?
Yeah.
Oh, no, what time do they go on?
When they put them on a tree, they usually keep them on, and I'm up at 5 in the morning, so that's when they do it. They're
I've
pretty.
been up at 5 in the morning, but I haven't seen them yet.
They're over on Washington.
Oh, okay, that's why.
You've been up at 5 in the morning.
On your way to the gym.
All right. So no meeting. Mr. Johnson, if we're going to do something with the monument, does that need to come out of any committee, or can we just do that up here at the table? If we,
We can stick it on infrastructure if
We
you
can
want.
put it on.
okay, so
We'll take it.
infrastructure will take it, okay.
Yeah, we'll take it.
All right. All right, Business Marketing Committee, C.
Yep, well, we had a meeting, was it yesterday? Today's Monday. Monday. A lot of stuff. We met with, the principals from Burton Katzman, and we're trying to nail down and finalize that agreement and the timing of when they would start the project and everything like that. Like Tim said, that's still in the works. There's some other information that they're getting from the state, et cetera. So hopefully we will have something on that next month. And Tim talked about the ROCC City Center project. Same thing there. We went through a bunch of different stuff and different financing issues, and we're working with the city on that and trying to develop a final agreement on that, which again, like Tim said, we may have to convene a special meeting to get that through. And then we talked to Sean about the leasing of the commercial space in the Center Street parking deck of the retail space in there. And I believe, and I don't know whether it's been decided or not, but I think that Sean and the DDA might take on an active role in helping to lease that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I would encourage, especially the CMC, to have some input into that as well with Sean.
How big is that space?
10,000?
5,000.
5,000.
A little over 5.
A little over 5.
About 5,500.
No, I'm moving there.
What space?
The new
It's unfinished space though, it's a dirt floor.
It's totally unfinished, yeah. So like we knocked around a few ideas in session, and Sean and I have talked about a few things, and I encourage especially Gary, Lori, to, you know, have some input and see what he's thinking, what he's hearing and things like that.
Yeah, it probably won't be available until January though, when the deck's open.
And I think that's all we got. Did you guys do anything after I left?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot done, actually. All right, well, thank you, Director Riley. Well, that takes us down to other business and reports. There's a downtown manager report from Sean. He'd be here today, but he's at a seminar, right?
He's at Michigan Downtown Conference in Bay City today, and part of tomorrow. There's really no action items in his report, so that's why I listed a couple others separate. We'll try to, when you need an action item, we'll go on the agenda versus in the report. He is looking at some ads to go on the billboards. Those are free under a consent agreement with the city. So he's looking at putting those together. And then he is investigating whether or not joining the Main Street program would be of any benefit. And he'll get something back to you on that. Other than that, I think you dealt with the Façade grant, the small business Saturday, things like that, retail space. So.
Anybody with anything on this? Okay, well, if you haven't had a chance to go through it, it's well done.
Yeah,
very well
we
done,
don't have
very
copies of
informative.
this
Yeah.
here today, do we? I'll just print one at home.
Yeah.
This is a different one. I like when Sean's here, he gives us copies.
All right, Mr. Johnson, do you have something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I remembered.
Actually, both Director Safaya and I both attended a meeting on Monday with several of the restaurants in Oakland Community College, including Chancellor Peter Provenzano. OCC is considering and seems to be very interested in bringing a culinary arts program to the Royal Oak campus, and is very interested in making connections with the restaurants in Royal Oak for numerous purposes. One, to be a source of employment for their students, also a source of internships for their students, but also to be providing direct training that may be of value to some of the restaurants. Mike, would you like to add anything?
No, I thought it was a very constructive meeting. I appreciate Mr. Johnson putting it together. I think from both sides, we got a lot of information out there, and I'm hoping, and I am actually very confident that this culinary thing is just a small portion of it, and I think it's gonna grow into a bigger relationship as we move forward between the city of Royal Oak and OCC, and I think it's gonna end up being a very positive partnership, not only in the culinary aspect, but as we move forward with events and things that are happening to the city, so.
I agree, and I'm very optimistic. I mean, the attitude at OCC has changed 180 degrees.
Right.
Mr. Provenzano is extremely interested in being part of this community and getting the school involved in the city.
Would this be, would they be adding actual building space as well with this?
It remains to be seen, whether it
So
would be in the existing
they may work
facility.
it in their existing
or-
footprint?
Yeah.
Or they might need more? That's cool.
They consider Royal Oak to be more of a centralized location
As opposed to
than
Orchard Lake?
their other campuses.
Okay.
So
So this would be the only culinary
Well, they have a culinary program right now at Orchard Ridge.
at Orchard Ridge, which is their main campus, correct? Yeah,
It's their largest campus.
yeah, okay. That's cool, very cool.
All right, anybody with anything else? No? Okay. With that, I'll entertain.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, move to adjourn by Director Safaya,
This meeting.
seconded by who?
Oh, Tony, about,
Second by
did you
Tony?
say second?
By Director Yazbek?
Second. Director Yazbek, second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good night.
I didn't even know